Hello and welcome to another video. So today I'm going to be playing Vengeance Blood. I'm going to have links in the description to the source for this deck and the deck list, so make sure to check that out. It is a pretty standard Vengeance Blood list. I mean, we've got everything that you'd need from the Belfs right through to the Spiderweb Imps, which are a fun little card. Hopefully I'll get to show them off, so we'll get into some games pretty quick here, and I'll go over the mulligans. Okay, so the first matchup is against Rune. Pretty sure Dirt Rune, so fun little matchup. Starting out with our two early drops is quite good. Hungering Horde along with that does clear out anything early that they can play. Dwarven Alchemist. Little card, but has a lot of power behind it. Very easily killed though. When you are playing with the Blood Wolves and such, you do want to be going face as often as possible, forcing them to trade into them instead of you trading into them, which is a lot better. Both Uriuses are a good setup for turn 4 and a really nice card to also be able to drop on 2, so having those available to you are really quite good. If you do mulligan those, I recommend keeping them in most cases, unless you know you're going to need that early game against something like Shadow. Disagreeable Demon, solid 3-drop, great ward, also is very versatile when it comes to being played out. Being a 4-3 attack is pretty solid. Of course, double Urius, they do play Oz, which is a pain in the ass for us to deal with. Although we do have the Blood Wolves, the Angelic Knights, the Disagreeable Demon, and the Demonic Officer, all really solid plays. So I have to make a pretty unfavourable trade. I mean, we got the Blood Wolf and the Demon. Trading each of those is a pain in the ass, but we need to kill that Oz. We can't risk 1-drop spells burning us down too quickly, so getting rid of that is the best option we've got. Plus we do get to keep the Urius, which is a nice little bonus. And unfortunately getting Vengeance from here is really difficult unless you do draw into something like Elf. You'd be much better off if you draw it in the early game. Fortunately though, you get that one ping before they get the Demonic Striker. And we also can play the Dark General just to trade. Gets rid of any excess spells they may have just drawn. Plus it does leave it as a 6-1, which has potential. I mean, it means it has to be cleared. We're gonna play something, which they do. This deck, Vengeance Blood, it's good. It's tricky if you don't get some lucky draws. I mean, you can pretty easily brick yourself if you're not careful. Which is kind of the case I've ended up in this match. I haven't really got the best cards. But sometimes you don't need the best cards. Sometimes you just need a little bit of luck on your side. I mean, they're not doing much here, so we're pretty well off. Unfortunately, Master Mage, pain in the ass card to deal with, especially when you're playing Vengeance Blood. I mean, most of your cards can be out of range, but when they're not, it's just really difficult. Honestly there, I should have probably made a better play, but I wanted that Disagreeable Demon to be a 4-3, and I wanted the attack stats. Plus, I knew it would drop me back into Vengeance, so what is it? The Devil of Vengeance would actually be usable. I completely blanked on that guy's name for a moment there, which is pretty entertaining. I do make one kind of big fuck up here, I guess. I do kill that Magic Illusionist without really thinking about it. I don't know why. I should have honestly just left it up and made them use it as a trade. That way I wouldn't have left an extra board spot for them and gave them an advantage. So it was a really big fuck up. Luckily it didn't affect the outcome of the match, but it was a huge thing. Something to be very careful of when playing against Rune. I kind of just blanked on the match and was like, what am I hitting? I have no clue, but we did it anyway. Fortunately, this Master Mage doesn't quite clear the board, making their life a little more difficult. But even if we hadn't have traded into that, they probably would have just traded it themselves. They just wouldn't have got the extra bonus from it, which would have gave us probably lethal this turn, honestly. But we try and aim for lethal with this Belf, so why not? I mean, we get 2 draws and Razor Edge, which is a perfect way to go for lethal this game. Okay, so match 2 is against Sword. Sword is a pain in the ass class to beat. I mean, especially Ambush Sword. It's probably the hardest for Vengeance Blood to completely knock out because you don't really have a counter to their ambushes without having a full aggro set straight away. So you really want to push for some aggro cards or things like Spider Web, which will block the board out. Which is kind of what I was hoping for. I did keep the Devil of Vengeance, which I believe was a pretty big mistake and probably something I shouldn't have done. It put me at a huge risk of not having enough early game. Luckily though, Bladed Hedgehog, not so terrifying when it's little. Pretty damn terrifying once it gets really big. And unfortunately they are ambushed, making my life absolute hell. Luckily though, they can't easily get rid of this. So it means I do get some value out of it before they try and completely demolish me in the face. The Disagreeable Demon is a nice ward. So, nothing too exciting. I mean, they try and trade a little bit, they try and get some advantage out of it, and I basically play the Devil of Vengeance because I don't have anything else that would have made any real dent to that board. And Frog is my absolute nightmare with this deck. I mean, what the hell am I meant to do? And we're in an absolute losing position, so turning this around is not going to be easy. It's just relying on that little bit of luck, and having the exact right pulls off things like Dark Edge Armor to turn this game around. Fortunately, they do go for the Tsubaki, so they do get to clear that 5-3. Although, this puts them at a little bit of risk. I mean, I have to get lucky with what I pull here. If I do pull a ward and they don't have damage in hand, they are nearly screwed. Because we are going to do a crap ton of damage from here. So I go for the Evolve on the Spiderweb just to defend my board because I don't want to be cleared by anything too small. And luckily, that's all they had for us. So, quite a nice game there. I got a little bit of luck and a little bit of practice and did okay. And our final matchup is a Blood vs Blood matchup. Pretty sure they're running an aggro Blood, but I could be mistaken on that. Based on the cards that I see come out of this, that's what I'd assume. So you are looking to basically out aggro them, maybe even control them a little bit with things like Big Knuckle Bodyguard. So why I kept this whole hand, because it's actually really optimal for a Blood matchup. The only other thing that would have been nice, a Disagreeable Demon, because it acts as a nice ward. Unfortunately though, the Blood does get their good turn 1, while I have nothing, because I don't run a turn 1 in this Vengeance deck. So that makes our Blood Wolf a little less valuable, but still valuable enough that we could play it, although Urias being in our hand is a lot better, so that's the kind of play I wanted to go for. They do hit in the face, which is good. I mean, Vania, not too bad. They definitely don't have Evolve next turn, so we don't need to worry about Vania being absolutely crazy, but clearing it is still important. We don't want to lose this Urias too early, especially against aggro Blood where they're going to be swarming the board. Double Ambling Wraith, not too big of a threat. I mean, look at what we've got in hand. Plenty of stuff, just need to make sure that we can keep hitting them. I mean, we're equal on health now, thanks to them hitting themselves and my Urias hitting them. So it shouldn't be too hard to keep that momentum up, and the closer they put me to Vengeance, the easier it's going to be for me to kill them. And now we have double Urias, meaning anything they play takes double damage. Fortunately, Angel of Word, pretty much best Urias killer there. There isn't much else that they could have used that would have killed Urias in such a more effective way, other than maybe Big Knuckle. That would have been about it. Although, we are only 2 away from using Dark Air Jammer, but I do want that double draw off the Belf, so why not use that? And Scarlet Saber. Really solid card. I didn't see it in many of my matchups, unfortunately. Even though I'm running 2, I actually saw Demonic Officer a lot more than I saw Scarlet, which is a little odd. I would have preferred to have Scarlet in all those situations. It can easily 2 to 3 for 1 if you get lucky with the cards. But plenty of options here, Dark Air Gem being one of them. I mean, we can easily set up a ward with it, we can get the Urias, which is pretty great, and the Evolve on the Dark Air Jammer does get rid of one of these 1/1s, so we're not really worrying about Nighthorde. Which can be a threat if they're running aggro bats, like, you gotta watch out for those Nighthorde players. Dance of Death though, 2 damage to face. It seems like all they had, they run out of things and couldn't win by 6, so they pretty much conceded there. Great. And that sums up the Vengeance Blood matchup. So, there's not too much to say about this deck overall. You could mess around with the numbers of cards until you find something you're comfortable playing with. I would have personally liked to have maybe seen Big Knuckle more, so I may up that and drop something else, although this is a pretty good deck. I had a moderate success with it, keeping about a 50% win rate, which wasn't that great when I was using it, but like I said, I did come up against a lot of ambush swords, which really skewed that result, so not the best test grounds for it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget the deck list in the description below, and I will catch you guys next time. See ya.